Tonight I want you to forget everything you think you know about time. Forget the clock on your wall, forget the calendar on your phone, forget the idea that 1 second is 1 second everywhere in the universe. Because that belief, the one your brain has trusted since childhood, is not actually true. It is a useful illusion, a survival illusion, a human illusion, and the universe does not care about human illusions. The universe does not run on the kind of time your body feels. It does not run on the kind of time your school taught you. It does not run on the kind of time your phone displays every morning when you wake up. There is no giant cosmic clock hanging above reality, ticking at the same speed for everyone, everywhere, forever. That clock does not exist. And once you truly understand why, time becomes one of the most disturbing things in all of science. Not because it is mysterious, not because it is poetic, and not because it is hard to understand, but because it means reality itself is not built the way your mind desperately wants it to be built. You and I like to believe that now is real. We like to believe that somewhere across the entire universe there is one universal present moment. A single cosmic now stretching across Earth, the Moon, Mars, the Sun, the Milky Way, distant galaxies, black holes, and every star we have ever seen. We imagine that while you are listening to this sentence right now, something is also happening right now on a planet orbiting Alpha Centauri. Something is happening right now near the center of the Milky Way. Something is happening right now inside a galaxy 10 billion light years away. But Einstein's universe destroys that idea. There is no universal now. There is only your now, my now, a moving astronaut's now, a person standing on Earth's now, a satellite's now, and a clock near a black hole's now, and none of them are perfectly the same. That sounds impossible at first. It sounds like philosophy, like wordplay, like some strange trick of language. But it is not philosophy first, it is physics first. It is measured. It is tested. It is built into the technology you use every day. Time dilation is not an idea sitting quietly inside a textbook. Time dilation is happening around you right now. It is happening inside satellites above your head. It is happening inside particles falling from space. It is happening inside atomic clocks. It is happening because Earth has gravity.
Alcyonius appears as a modest
moves.
elliptical galaxy in
It is
optical light,
happening because
but in
you are
radio
not
light,
sitting
its
still,
plasma's black
even
hole
when you
travel at
think you
extreme
are.
light sucos,
And the
inflating
first
these
terrifying
colossal
truth is
structures.
this.
From
Time
Earth
does not
orbiting the
pass
Sun,
equally for
we
everyone.
zoom out to the Milky Way.
Time dilation
Its spiral
means that time
arms hold
passes at
billions of
different rates
stars,
for different observers,
separated crosses
depending
emptiness.
on how fast they are moving and how deep they are inside gravity. That sentence sounds simple, but if you follow it all the way down, it becomes horrifying.
In the cosmic
Because
web,
it means
a
two
brilliant
people can
giant galaxy
separate,
holds court.
live
Its
their
gravity
lives,
inexorably pulls in
reunite
smaller
later,
neighbors. Tidal
and
forces
discover that
stretch
they
and
have
tear
not
them
lived
apart.
the same amount of time. Not emotionally, not metaphorically, but physically, and biologically. One person may have aged 10 years, the other may have aged 50. One may have lived through a decade of memories, meals, dreams, pains, thought and heartbeat. The other may have lived through half a lifetime. Both experiences would be real. Neither person would be mistaken.
Its radio structure
Their clocks would not be broken.
The
Their bodies would not be lying. Time itself would pass differently forward. To understand why that is so disturbing, start with something small. Imagine two perfect atomic clocks. Not ordinary clocks, not watches, not phones, but atomic clocks. The most precise timekeeping devices humanity has ever built. These clocks do not measure time using swinging pendulums or spinning gears. They measure time using the vibrations of atoms. Their precision is so extreme that they can reveal differences in time so tiny that human senses could never detect them. Now imagine you place one atomic
From
clock on
Earth
the table.
orbiting the Sun,
It stays
we
there,
zoom out
still,
to reveal our place
quiet,
within the Milky
stable.
Way.
Then
A
you
light
take the
beam
second
travels
atomic
the
clock
galaxy
and
as the
place
scouring
it on an
balloon
airplane.
between stars.
That airplane
The
takes
Milky
off,
Way and Andromeda,
flies around
vast
the world,
spirals of light,
and eventually returns.
a colossal swarm.
When the plane lands,
Our
we
home,
bring the two
a
clocks together
speck
again.
in its ancient
Common
light.
sense says
From
they
Earth
should show
orbiting
the
our
same
Sun,
time.
we journey to the Milky
After all,
Way,
they
a
started
vast
together.
galaxy of
They were
billions of
identical.
stars.
They
A
existed
beam
in
of
the
light.
same
The
universe.
nearest star would be separated
should
by a
have
vast dark
experienced the same
chasm.
number
From
of
Earth
seconds.
orbiting the Sun, we zoom
they
out
do
into
not.
the vast Milky Way.
The clock that
Billions of
travelled on the
stars
airplane is
separated
slightly
by
behind.
vast empty spaces.
Only by
the
a
nearest
tiny
star,
amount,
a
maybe
distant
nanoseconds.
light. In the darkness,
Maybe
the
billions
Milky
of
Way
a second.
floats, a familiar spiral
Not enough
of
for a human to
stars.
notice,
Nearby,
not
the
enough to
Atraxa
change
crux
anyone's
emerges,
day.
swallowing them both.
but enough to destroy the idea that time is universal. Because the airplane clock did not simply measure less time, it experienced less time. Time actually passed differently for that clock because it moved differently through space-time. This is where the ground beneath your
In the
mind
depths
begins
of
to crack.
space, the Milky
A clock
Way
is not
floats
just a machine
serenely,
counting an external
but a
universal
colossal.
flow. A clock is something
Near
travelling
specs.
through space-time,
The Milky Way
measuring
galaxy,
the
our
time
cosmic
along its
home,
own
floats
path.
in the infinite
Different
dark.
path, different time. That is the secret. Two clocks can leave the same event, take different routes through space and gravity, return to the same event, and disagree about how much time has passed. And both clocks are right. This has been tested repeatedly. Not once, not as a vague idea, not as a fragile theory, but over and over again, with better and better clocks, with higher precision, with satellites, aircraft, particles, and laboratories. The answer is always the same. Motion changes time. Gravity changes time. Your path through the universe decides how much time you experience. Now, in daily life, the effect is too tiny to feel. When you drive a car, fly in a plane, climb a hill, or walk across a room, you are technically changing your relationship with time, but the difference is so small that your body cannot notice it. That is why human intuition failed for thousands of years. We evolved in a slow world, a weak gravity world, a world where nothing around us moves anywhere close to the speed of light. So time appears stable, it appears universal.
From
It
Earth,
appears
orbiting our
obvious.
Sun, we zoom
But
out
that
to
is
reveal
only
the
because
Milky
we live
Way.
inside a narrow,
A
gentle
vast
corner
barred
of the
spiral light
universe.
travels across
The
its
real
emptiness
universe is
between
not
billions of
gentle.
stars.
The real universe allows stars to collapse into black holes. It allows particles to move near light speed. It allows gravity to bend space and slow time. It allows clocks to disagree. And it allows one person to step into the future while barely aging. Now imagine something more extreme than an airplane. Imagine humanity builds a spacecraft capable of travelling at 90% of the speed of light. 90%. That is not fast like a bullet, not fast like a rocket, not fast like anything human beings have ever built. That is approximately 270,000 kilometers per second. At that speed, Earth would become a shrinking blue memory behind you almost instantly. The moon would vanish behind you. The planets would become distant markers. The sun would become just another star behind the glass. Now imagine your destination is a star system 10 light years away. From Earth's point of view, the trip out and back takes a little over 20 years. The ship travels 10 light years out, turns around and travels 10 light years back. Even at 90% light speed, from Earth's perspective, this is a journey measured in decades. Families wait, children grow, cities change, governments change, technology changes. The world you left does not pause for you. But inside your spaceship, something else happens. Your clock runs slower, relative to Earth. Your heartbeat continues normally. Your thoughts feel normal. Your meals feel normal. Your sleep feels normal. You do not feel time slowing down. That is the part people misunderstand. Time dilation does not feel like slow motion to the person experiencing it. You would not look at your hands and see them moving slowly. You would not hear your voice stretch out.
From
You would
Earth,
not
orbiting
feel
the
trapped
Sun,
in syrup.
we zoom out through the
A
Milky
second
Way.
would feel like
Its
a second.
arms are filled with
A
billions
minute
of stars
would feel like a minute.
and
A
vast
year
empty spaces.
would feel like a year.
From Earth,
But
Andromeda
when you
is a
return
faint
to
smudge
Earth,
in
you
the night
discover
sky.
that Earth has aged
In
more
deep
than you.
space,
From your perspective, maybe about 10 years passed. From Earth's perspective, more than 20 years passed. You step off the spacecraft 10 years older, but everyone on Earth is more than 20 years older. And this is not a movie trick. It is not suspended animation. It is not a psychological illusion. It is not a dream. You genuinely lived less time. Earth genuinely lived more. Now imagine the emotional violence of that return. You left your spouse in their 30s. You return and they are older by decades. You left your children young. You return and they may be adults. You left your parents alive. You return and they may be gone. Your house may still exist, but it is no longer your house in the same way. Your city may still stand, but it has become a city from your future. Your friends remember waiting for you for 20 years. You remember being gone for 10. Neither memory is wrong. That is what makes it terrifying. In ordinary life, time is what holds relationships together. We grow older together. We share years, we share seasons, we share birthdays, losses, changes and memories along the same timeline. But relativity says
From
timelines can
Earth
separate.
orbiting the Sun, we begin a
You can
journey
leave
into
the
the
people you love,
cosmos. Past
travel
nearby
fast
stars
enough,
into
and
the
return
Milky
to
Way's
find that
glowing
time
arm,
itself
a beam
has
of light
pulled you away from them.
traveled by distance.
Not distance.
From Earth
Time.
orbiting our Sun,
You did
we
not
zoom
simply
out
go
to
far
reveal the
away.
vast Milky Way.
You moved into their future.
A beam
Now
now
increase
travels
the
across
speed.
its stance, with the
Imagine the
nearest
ship
star
travels
distant.
not at 90% light speed, but at 99.9% of the speed of light. Now the distortion becomes almost cruel. From Earth's point of view, a journey to a star 10 light years away and back still takes about 20 years, because even near light speed, the distance is still immense. But from your point of view, inside the ship, the journey could feel like only about 1 year. 6 months out, 6 months back. 1 year of your life, 1 year of meals, 1 year of sleep. Okay, 1 year of thoughts, 1 year of aging. Then you return, and Earth has aged 20 years. Your life skipped forward 19 years compared to everyone else. You did not enter a time machine made of glowing metal rings. You did not break the laws of physics. You obeyed them. That is the frightening part. Time travel into the future is not forbidden by relativity. It is built into relativity. Travel fast enough, and the future comes to you while you barely age. But this form of time travel has no return ticket. You cannot go back to the Earth you left. You cannot recover the lost years. You cannot step out of the spaceship and say, "Take me back to the day I launched." That day still exists in memory, in light travelling through space. Maybe in the block universe, if that view is true, but you cannot return to it. Relativistic travel is a one-way migration through time. You arrive in the future, and the past is sealed behind you. This is why time dilation is more disturbing than ordinary time travel fiction. In fiction, time travel often gives people control. They jump backward, they fix mistakes, they change history, they meet their younger selves. But real physics gives you something colder. It allows forward travel. It allows separation. It allows exile. It allows you to outlive everyone you love without living longer than them. You can be biologically younger than your own children. You can return from a mission still middle-aged while your classmates are old. You can watch society leap ahead while your own body insists only a short time has passed. This is not fantasy. This is what time dilation means. And the universe has already proven it on a smaller scale. Not with astronauts travelling to stars, but with particles. Tiny, unstable particles called muons are created high in Earth's atmosphere when cosmic rays from space slam into atoms. These muons are unstable, they decay very quickly. Their lifetime is so short that, according to ordinary, non-relativistic thinking, most of them should vanish before they ever reach the ground. They are created many kilometers above us. They move incredibly fast. But even at that speed, without time dilation, they should not survive the trip. Yet we detect them at Earth's surface. Why? Because from our perspective, their internal clocks are running slow. The muons are moving so close to the speed of light that time dilation stretches their lifetime. They survive long enough to reach the ground. From the muon's own perspective, it is not living longer. Its own time feels normal. But the distance through the atmosphere is contracted. The atmosphere appears thinner along the direction of motion, so it can reach the surface before it decays. Both explanations are correct. From our frame, the muon's time slows. From the muon's frame, the distance shrinks. Same reality. Two descriptions, both true. That is relativity, that is, and this is where your intuition begins to fail completely. Because you want one story. You want the universe to say either the muon lived longer or the distance became shorter. But the universe says yes. Both. It depends on the frame. The truth is not a single classical picture. The truth is space-time. Motion through space and motion through time are connected. The faster something moves through space, the less time it experiences relative to a slower observer. This is velocity time dilation, the first great wound Einstein opened in our understanding of reality. Before Einstein, time was treated like a background stage. Things moved through space, but time itself simply passed. The same for everyone. 1 second here, 1 second there. 1 second on Earth, 1 second near Jupiter, 1 second in another galaxy. Then relativity arrived and said no. Time is not the stage. Time is part of the performance. Time bends, time stretches, time slows, time depends on your motion. And nothing with mass can reach the speed of light because doing so would require infinite energy. But as an object gets closer and closer to that speed, time dilation grows stronger and stronger. The object's clock slows more and more relative to outside observers. At the limit, if something could travel at the speed of light, time would stop for it. This is why photons, particles of light, do not experience time in the way we do. From our perspective, light from distant galaxies may travel for billions of years before reaching us. A photon can leave a star near the beginning of cosmic history and arrive at a telescope on Earth billions of years later. But from the photon's own perspective, if such a perspective could meaningfully be described, no time passes between emission and absorption. The journey has no duration. The universe for light is not experienced as a long road. It is more like an instant connection between beginning and end. That idea alone is almost impossible to hold in the mind. Light can cross the observable universe and yet in its own strange way experience no time at all. And this brings us to a deeper truth. You are always moving through space-time, even when you sit still in a chair, even when you lie in bed at night, even when your body does not move across the room. You are moving through time. Relativity links space and time into one four-dimensional structure called space-time. Your life is not simply a body moving through space while time passes separately. Your life is a path through space-time, a world line. Every moment of your existence is part of that path. Your birth, your childhood, this sentence, your future. All points along your path through space-time. If you remain still relative to Earth, most of your motion through space-time is motion through time. You move forward through time at the maximum rate available to you in that frame. But when you begin moving rapidly through space, some of that motion shifts into the spatial direction. Your motion through time decreases relative to someone who stayed behind. That is the trade. More motion through space, less motion through time. This is why fast travelers age less. They have taken a different route through space-time. They have literally traveled along a path where less time passes. And that idea should unsettle you, because it means age is not simply a number counted by universal time. Age is path-dependent. Your body is a clock. Your heart is a clock. Your cells are clocks. Your memories are clocks. And the amount of time they experience depends on the path you take through the universe. Two people can begin together, separate, and reunite having lived different durations. There is no universal scoreboard correcting them. No higher clock declaring the true amount of time. Each person carries their own time. Each clock carries its own truth. And at high speeds, those truths can diverge dramatically. Now pause and consider what this does to the meaning of distance. A star 10 light years away is impossibly far by human standards. Light itself takes 10 years to reach it. With today's spacecraft, the trip would take tens of thousands of years. It seems beyond a human lifetime. But if a ship could travel close enough to light speed, the astronauts might experience only a few years, or months depending on velocity. The distance does not disappear from Earth's point of view. Earth still sees the journey taking years or decades. But from the ship's point of view, space contracts and time slows. The galaxy becomes more reachable for the traveller, but only by sacrificing connection with the time they came from. That is the trade built into the universe. The stars may be reachable, but home becomes the past. And this is only the first horror of time dilation. Because velocity is not the only thing that changes time, gravity does too. And once gravity enters the story, time becomes even stranger. Because time does not only slow down when you move fast, time also slows down when you fall deeper into gravity. Meaning right now, as you stand on Earth, time is passing slightly differently for your feet than for your head. Your feet are closer to Earth's centre. They are deeper in Earth's gravitational field, so time at your feet passes ever so slightly slower than time at your head. The difference is unbelievably tiny. You cannot feel it. You cannot age noticeably from it. But with precise enough clocks, it is real. Your body exists across a tiny gradient of time. The top of you and the bottom of you are not experiencing time at exactly the same rate. That should feel absurd. But it is true. And now gravity takes this idea from tiny differences on Earth to the most extreme places in the universe, where time can slow so violently that one observer sees eternity while another experiences only minutes. Because near a black hole, time does not merely bend, it becomes a nightmare. Gravity does something to time that feels almost supernatural when you first hear it. The stronger the gravity, the slower time passes. Not slower in the emotional sense, not slower like a boring day at work, slower physically, slower mathematically, slower in the ticking of clocks, the beating of hearts, the firing of neurons, the aging of cells, the decay of particles, and the rhythm of existence itself. Gravity does not only pull objects, gravity pulls on time. And this means that time is not the same at sea level as it is on a mountain. It is not the same on Earth as it is in orbit. It is not the same near a neutron star as it is in deep space. And near a black hole, time becomes so distorted that the concept of what is happening now begins to collapse. Start gently. Imagine two atomic clocks again. One clock is placed at sea level. The other is carried to the top of a mountain. They are identical. They are both functioning perfectly. You wait a day, a week, long enough for the difference to build. Then you bring them together. The mountain clock has ticked slightly more. The sea level clock has ticked slightly less. Why? Because the sea level clock was deeper in Earth's gravity. The mountain clock was farther from Earth's centre, in a slightly weaker gravitational field. Time passed faster for the mountain clock. Again, the difference is tiny. But tiny does not mean meaningless. Tiny does not mean unreal. Tiny means you need better instruments. And when instruments become precise enough, the illusion breaks. Modern clocks are now so sensitive that they can detect changes in time from very small height differences. Raise a clock and it ticks a little faster. Lower it and it ticks a little slower. This is not because the clock is damaged. This is not because the mechanism changes. This is because time itself changes with gravity. The deeper you are in a gravitational field, the slower your path through time becomes relative to someone higher up. This is gravitational time dilation, and you rely on it every time you use GPS. Your phone does not know where you are by magic. It depends on satellites orbiting thousands of kilometers above Earth. These satellites send extremely precise time signals. Your phone receives signals from multiple satellites, compares how long each signal took to arrive, and calculates your position. The entire system depends on timing. If the clocks are wrong, the position is wrong. And here is the problem. GPS satellites do not experience time. Imagine you and a friend are travelling in a spacecraft near a supermassive black hole. You remain far away at a safe distance. Your friend takes a smaller craft and begins falling toward the black hole. You watch through a powerful telescope. At first, everything looks normal. Your friend's craft moves closer. They send signals back. Their clock appears to tick normally. But as they approach the event horizon, something strange begins. Their motion appears to slow. Their clock appears to slow. Their signals arrive more slowly. Their voice becomes stretched. Their light shifts toward red. The closer they get to the event horizon, the more extreme the effect becomes. From your perspective, your friend never quite reaches the horizon. They fall closer and closer, slower and slower. Their image becomes dimmer, redder, more frozen. Eventually, they appear suspended just above the event horizon, locked in a final moment, never crossing, never completing the fall. You could wait a year, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years. From your outside perspective, they never visibly cross the event horizon. They fade away, not because they are gone from their own experience, but because the light reaching you becomes stretched and weakened until it is undetectable. To you, they become a ghost frozen at the edge of eternity. Now switch perspectives. Become your friend. From their point of view, the experience is completely different. They do not slow down. They do not freeze. Their own clock ticks normally. Their heartbeat continues normally. They fall faster and faster. They cross the event horizon after a finite amount of time. Maybe seconds. Maybe minutes. Depending on the size of the black hole. And if the black hole is large enough, crossing the event horizon may not feel dramatic in that instant. There may be no sudden wall, no visible boundary, no alarm from the universe saying, "You have now entered the point of no return." They simply pass inward. But once they cross, escape is impossible. All future paths lead deeper, toward the singularity, or whatever quantum gravity ultimately says replaces the classical singularity. From their perspective, the event happened. They crossed. It is in their past. From your perspective outside, they never crossed. They are still frozen at the edge. So what is true? Did they cross or not? This is where time dilation stops feeling like science and starts feeling like reality horror. Because the answer is not simple. From their frame, yes. From your frame, no. Both descriptions are valid. Both follow the laws of physics. There is no universal outside view that says, this one is the real version. The universe does not provide a final referee. This is the collapse of the ordinary idea of happening. We like to think an event either happens or does not happen. A door opens or it does not. A person crosses a line or they do not. A star explodes or it does not. But relativity says the story can depend on the observer's path through spacetime. Events are not floating inside a universal present. They are located inside spacetime. Different observers slice spacetime differently. Different observers assign different nows. That is why the black hole scenario feels so disturbing. It is not merely that clocks run slow, it is that reality itself refuses to arrange itself into one single human-friendly timeline. Near the event horizon, the difference between observers becomes absolute. The falling observer experiences one story, the distant observer experiences another. Both are true. Neither can fully enter the other's reality. This destroys the idea of a single shared present. And this idea does not only apply to black holes. Black holes make it dramatic, but the principle exists everywhere. Even here, even now, when you look at another person standing across the room, you are not seeing them as they are now. You are seeing them as they were a tiny fraction of a second ago, because light takes time to travel from their face to your eyes. If they are 1 meter away, the delay is only a few nanoseconds, so your brain ignores it. It feels instant. It feels shared. But it is not perfectly shared. You are always seeing the past. When you look at the moon, you see it about 1.25 seconds in the past. When you look at the sun, you see it as it was about 8 minutes ago. If the sun somehow vanished right now, Earth would not know instantly. Sunlight would continue arriving for more than 8 minutes. Gravity changes would also propagate at light speed. For those minutes, as far as Earth is concerned, the sun would still be there. When you look at stars, you are looking years, centuries, or thousands of years into the past. Some stars visible in the night sky may already be dead. Their light is still travelling. Their ghost is still arriving. Astronomy is not looking across space only. It is looking backward in time, but relativity goes further. It says that for distant events, different observers can disagree about what is happening now over there. Imagine a star far across the galaxy. You ask, what is happening there right now? That question feels meaningful. But in relativity, it is not absolute. An observer moving one way may define the star's present differently from an observer moving another way. One might say a certain event on that star has already happened. Another might say it has not happened yet. If the event is far enough away, and not causally connected to you, there may be no universal answer. This is called the relativity of simultaneity. It means simultaneity. The idea that two events happen at the same time depends on the observer. At everyday speeds, the disagreement is too tiny to matter. At cosmic distances and high speeds, it becomes unavoidable. This is one of the most important ideas in Einstein's theory. Time dilation and the relativity of simultaneity are connected. Once time can run differently for different observers, the entire idea of universal ordering begins to break apart. Events that are causally connected maintain order. A cause still comes before its effect. Relativity does not allow you to see a bullet hit a wall before the gun fires if the firing caused the impact. Causality is protected for events that can influence each other. But events separated by enough distance that light has not had time to travel between them do not have one absolute order for all observers. One observer can say event A happened before event B. Another observer can say event B happened before event A, and both can be correct. This sounds insane because human brains are built for forests, rivers, fire, animals, storms, enemies, food, family and survival, not for space-time diagrams. In our daily world, the speed of light is so enormous compared to human speeds that simultaneity appears obvious. Everyone nearby mostly agrees on what happens first, second, and third. But that agreement is an approximation, a local illusion, useful but not fundamental. The deeper universe does not arrange events around human intuition. It arranges them according to space-time. Now consider your own motion. You may feel still right now. Maybe you are sitting. Maybe your body is relaxed. Maybe your room feels motionless. But you are not still. Earth is rotating. If you are near the equator, the surface carries you around at roughly 1,600 kilometers per hour. Earth is orbiting the Sun at about 107,000 kilometers per hour. The Sun is orbiting the center of the Milky Way at hundreds of thousands of kilometers per hour. The Milky Way itself is moving relative to other galaxies. The local group moves. Galaxy clusters move. Everything is moving relative to something. There is no absolute rest. No universal background saying that this object is truly stationary. You can only be at rest relative to something else. You are at rest relative to your chair. Your chair is moving with Earth. Earth is moving around the Sun. The Sun is moving around the galaxy. The galaxy is moving through the cosmic web. And because motion affects time, your time is always relative to other frames. There is no master clock. There is no one true rate at which time flows. This is hard to accept because we want time to be the foundation beneath everything. We want time to be the thing that does not move while everything else changes. But Einstein showed that time is not the foundation. Space-time is. And time is one direction within it, mixed with space depending on motion and gravity. This is why the twin paradox feels so powerful. Imagine identical twins. Both are 20 years old. One remains on Earth. The other boards a spacecraft capable of travelling close to the speed of light. The spacecraft leaves Earth, travels to a distant star, turns around and returns. When the travelling twin comes home, they may have aged only 2 years. They are 22. But the twin on Earth may have aged 40 years. They are 60. The twins began together. They shared the same birth date. They shared the same childhood. But now one is young and the other is old. Not because of magic, not because of biology, because of space-time. The travelling twin took a different path. Less proper time passed along that path. The Earth twin followed a different world line through space-time, and more time passed. At first, people call this a paradox because motion seems relative. From the spaceship's point of view, could you not say Earth was moving away and returning? Why is the spaceship twin younger rather than the Earth twin? The answer is acceleration. The travelling twin changes reference frames. They accelerate away, turn around, and accelerate back. The Earth twin remains in essentially one inertial frame for the simplified version. The symmetry is broken. The travelling twin's path through space-time is different in a way that produces less elapsed time. This is not just a thought experiment. Particles prove it. Clocks prove it. GPS proves it. Relativity is not optional. If humanity ever becomes an interstellar species, the twin paradox will stop being a classroom example and become a family tragedy. Imagine a future where some people work aboard relativistic ships. They travel between stars at near light speeds. For them, a round trip may take 5 years. On Earth, 50 years pass. A pilot leaves behind a daughter who is 10 years old. When he returns, he is only 5 years older. She is 60. He is younger than his own child. She has lived a whole life while he remembers being gone only briefly. How do you rebuild a relationship after that? How do you return home when home has aged without you? How do you belong to a civilization that keeps moving forward while you experience only fragments of its history? Time dilation turns astronauts into temporal exiles. They are not simply travelers through space. They are refugees from their own era. They leave one century emotionally and return to another physically. And no technology can fully protect them from that. The ship can shield them from radiation. It can recycle air. It can create artificial gravity. It can navigate between stars. But it cannot preserve the timeline they left behind. The universe charges a price for relativistic travel. The price is separation from ordinary time. This is why time dilation is terrifying. It does not attack your body directly. It attacks your place in reality, your relationship to other people, your belief that everyone shares the same now, your belief that the future is waiting equally for all of us, your belief that time is one river carrying everyone together. Relativity says there is no single river. There are countless paths through spacetime. Some paths are long in time, some are short. Some pass near massive objects and slow down. Some move fast and leap ahead. Some remain near Earth and age normally by human standards. And every conscious being rides its own path. You can walk beside someone for years and share almost the same time because you are close together and moving similarly. But that sameness is approximate. It is local. It is fragile. Stretch the distance. Increase the speed. Deepen the gravity. And your timelines diverge. This is the loneliness hidden inside Einstein's equations. Not emotional loneliness only. Cosmic loneliness. The fact that there is no perfect shared present. No absolute simultaneity. No universal stage on which all beings experience the same now together. Only local agreements, local clocks, local truths. And when the universe becomes extreme, those truths separate. Now think again about the black hole. The falling observer crosses. The distant observer never sees the crossing. The astronaut on a fast ship ages 1 year. Earth ages 20. The muon lives long enough to reach the ground from our frame. From its frame, the atmosphere is shorter. The satellite clock runs differently from the clock in your phone. The mountain clock ticks faster than the sea level clock. Every example says the same thing. Time is not one thing. Time is personal to a path through space-time. And once you truly understand that, clocks stop feeling ordinary. A clock no longer seems like a device telling you what time it is. It becomes a record of a journey, a tiny witness measuring how much time has passed along one particular route through the universe. Your body is doing the same thing. Every wrinkle, every memory, every heartbeat, every scar, every forgotten dream is part of your proper time. The time along your world line. Someone else may travel a different world line and experience less or more. And neither of you can claim to own the universal truth, because the universal truth is not a single ticking clock. The universal truth is space-time itself. And space-time is far stranger than the world our senses built for us. This is only the beginning. Because once you accept that time depends on motion and gravity, the next question becomes unavoidable. If everyone has their own now, if simultaneity is relative, if the future may be present for one observer, while still future for another, then what does that mean for the future itself? Does the future already exist? Is the past still real somewhere in space-time? Are we moving through time, or is time simply another dimension we are conscious of, one slice at a time? That question opens the door to one of the most disturbing ideas in modern physics, the block universe. Now we arrive at the idea that makes time dilation feel less like physics and more like an attack on reality itself. The block universe. At first, time dilation only seems to tell us that clocks can tick at different rates. That alone is disturbing enough. But when you follow the logic further, when you ask what it means for there to be no universal now, you reach a much deeper and more unsettling possibility. Maybe the past is not gone. Maybe the future is not waiting to be created. Maybe all moments, past, present and future, already exist together inside one enormous four-dimensional structure called spacetime. This idea is difficult because it does not feel like life. Life feels like movement. Life feels like a present moment flowing forward. You remember yesterday. You experience today. You wait for tomorrow. The past feels finished. The future feels open. The present feels real. But relativity quietly breaks that simple picture. If different observers can disagree about what is happening right now, then the present cannot be a universal slice across the universe. And if the present is not universal, then what makes only the present real? Why should your present be the only real moment if someone moving differently has a different present that includes events you would call future or past? This is where the block universe enters. In the block universe view, the universe is not like a movie being created one frame at a time. It is more like the entire film reel already exists. Every frame is there. The beginning is there. The ending is there. The scenes in the middle are there. When you watch the movie, you experience one frame after another, but the frames do not appear into existence because you reached them. They were already part of the reel. Your experience moves through them, but the reel itself exists as a whole. Now apply that to reality. Your childhood is not gone in an absolute sense. It exists at an earlier location in spacetime. Your future self is not non-existent in an absolute sense. It may exist at a later location in spacetime. You are not creating time as you move forward. You are travelling along your world line through a four-dimensional structure where every moment has its place. Your birth, your first memory, this exact sentence, your final breath, all of it could be part of one complete space-time geometry. That is a terrifying thought because it changes the meaning of existence. We are used to thinking that only the present exists. The past existed, but it is gone. The future will exist, but it does not exist yet. The block universe says something colder. The past, present and future may all be equally real. They are not equally accessible to you, but they are equally part of the structure. You cannot walk back to your childhood any more than you can step into tomorrow at will, but both may exist in space-time, the way distant cities exist in space. You are simply located at one point on your path. Imagine standing on a road in the middle of a desert. Behind you is a city you left yesterday. Ahead of you is another city you will reach tomorrow. From your current position, the city behind you is not visible, and the city ahead of you is not visible either. But both cities exist. Your inability to see them does not erase them. The block universe treats time in a similar way. The past is like a region behind you on the road. The future is like a region ahead of you. Your consciousness is standing at one location, calling it now, but the whole road may already be there. This is why time dilation becomes philosophically dangerous. It does not merely slow clocks. It weakens the idea that now is absolute. And once the universal present collapses, the door opens to eternalism, the view that all moments in time are real. Not just the current moment, not just the events happening around you. All moments. Every sunrise Earth has ever seen, every star that has ever died, every civilization that may ever rise, every event that has already happened and every event that has not yet happened from your perspective, all of them embedded in space-time. For many people, this feels suffocating. Because if the future already exists, then what happens to freedom? What happens to choice? What happens to the feeling that tomorrow is open and unwritten? If your future decisions already exist somewhere in space-time, are you truly choosing them? Or are you simply discovering a path that was always there? This is one of the deepest questions relativity forces onto philosophy. It does not give a simple answer, but it makes the question impossible to ignore. Suppose tomorrow you choose to call an old friend. From your perspective, the choice feels open today. You may call, or you may not. You think about it. You hesitate. You decide. That experience is real. But in the block universe, the event of you making that call may already exist at a later point on your world line. The hesitation exists. The decision exists. The phone call exists. The consequences exist. Not because your choice was fake, but because the entire timeline containing your choice is part of space-time. This does not necessarily destroy free will, but it changes the way we think about it. Some philosophers argue that free will can still exist inside a block universe because your choices are still produced by your thoughts, values, memories, emotions, and reasoning. The fact that those choices exist in space-time does not mean they were forced by something outside you. They are still your choices, they are still part of your mind and your process. But others feel that if the future already exists, then the future cannot truly be changed. It can only be reached. And that is where the horror deepens. In ordinary life, we comfort ourselves with possibility. We say the future is open. We say anything can happen. We say tomorrow is unwritten. But the physics of space-time hints that tomorrow may not be unwritten. It may be inaccessible, unknown, unseen, and emotionally open to us, but not physically non-existent. The future may be there already, waiting not to be created, but to be encountered. Now think about your own life through this lens, somewhere in space-time. If the block universe is correct, the child version of you still exists at its own moment. Not alive in the way you experience yourself now, but real as a point in space-time. That child is laughing, crying, learning, fearing, hoping. Somewhere else in space-time, your older self may exist. A version of you that remembers this moment as the past. A version of you who knows what happened after today, and you, here, right now, are only one slice of that larger existence. This can feel strangely beautiful for a moment. Maybe nothing is truly lost. Maybe the past is not erased. Maybe every loved one you ever lost still exists in their moments, fixed forever inside space-time. Their voice, their face, their gestures, their laughter, not preserved as memory only, but as events woven into the structure of the universe. But then the beauty turns cold, because if the past is fixed, the future may be fixed too. And if the future is fixed, then every joy, every loss, every mistake, every ending may already be part of the structure. This is the emotional terror of the block universe. It offers permanence, but at the cost of openness. It gives reality a strange kind of immortality, but it threatens the feeling that life is being created. So when a relativistic traveller returns younger than the people they left behind, it makes existence feel less like a flowing river. They've taken a shorter route, more like a frozen sculpture. Their world line complete from beginning to end and return, with consciousness moving along one carved path inside it. That is the most precise way. Why does relativity push us toward this idea? But emotionally, it means there is no universal present. The universe allows two people to begin together differently and end together. While because of relativity, far less life in between. They slice space-time into. Now imagine this on a civilization scale. One observer's future can include events that another observer stars at extreme speed. Another observer's people who stay on planets experience events the first observer calls past. They build cities, fight wars, only the present is real. Technologies, and change languages gets to decide rewrite cultures. And there is no privileged observer, but the traveller's experience has only all valid frames that equally legitimate one age. So if one observer's present includes they become living fossils, and another observer's not because they are old, it becomes very difficult to say to a world that existence depends only on a single present. Crew might leave Earth in one political universe solves this by turn all events exist in space-time no longer exist. Observers simply might carry messages from people who died centuries earlier into past, they might return and future with mission orders from governments. The disagreement is not about what exists. Their bodies may be young, but their identity belongs to a dead time. Is about how each observer organizes that structure from their own loneliness. In this loneliness in space, present loneliness in history are not fundamental divisions of interstellar travel. Is not just an engineering problem created by it is a temporal moving through space-time. Even if you think of a loaf of propulsion, the whole loaf is space-time. Fuel, each slices are now navigation to some observer and life support. But different observers still face the reality that fast travel One slice may
disconnects you
include
from
the parts
people
who
who
remain
events that
behind.
another slice does
The
not.
faster you go, there is
The
no
more
single
future you
correct
enter.
slicing.
The farther you travel, the
The
less
loaf
return
itself
means
is the
returning.
reality. The
You
slices
may come
are
back to
perspectives,
Earth, but Earth will
that
not
is
be
what
the Earth you
relativity
left.
suggests about
And this is
time.
where the block universe becomes
Your
almost
present
cruel.
is not the
If the
universe's
Earth you return
present.
to already exists
It is your
somewhere in
slice through the
space-time,
loaf.
then your journey is not creating
This destroys
a new
the
future.
comforting idea
It is carrying
that
you
the
to a later
universe is
region
unfolding
of
in
the
one
structure.
shared rhythm.
The version
Instead,
of Earth
the
you
universe
left
may
is still
already be a
behind you
complete structure
on your world line, and
The
each
version
observer
you return to is
experiences a
ahead.
different path.
Both
through
are
it.
real in the structure,
But you can
do
only
not live
experience
inside
one moment
at a
universal
time.
time. You are locked.
You live along
into
a
your
world
path.
line.
Now
Your
think
life
about
is not a thing
consciousness.
floating inside
Consciousness
a cosmic
feels
clock.
like a
Your life is a
spotlight moving through
curve
time.
through space-time.
You are aware
Now
of
let
this
us
moment.
connect this back
You
to
remember
time
earlier
dilation.
moments. You
If
anticipate
you travel near
later
the speed
moments.
of light,
But if the
your
block
world
universe is
line
real,
through space-time
what is the spotlight?
becomes different from
Why does
someone who
awareness
stays
seem
on
to
Earth.
move? Less proper
Why are
time
you not
passes for
aware
you of your
more
entire
proper time
world line
passes
at
for them?
once? In the
Why
block
do you
universe,
experience
both
life
lives
one
exist
moment
as paths
after
through
another,
the same structure,
rather than all
but
at
the
once
paths
as a
have
complete
different
structure?
lengths in time.
Physics
You
does
and the
not
person
fully
on
answer
Earth
this.
do not simply
Relativity
experience the same
gives us
timeline at
equations
different
for
speeds.
clocks.
You literally
motion,
take different routes
gravity,
through space-time
and space-time.
Your route contains
It tells
fewer
us how
years.
different
Their
observers
route
measure
contains
time.
more. It tells us
This
how
is why the
events
twin
relate,
paradox
but it
is
does
so
not
powerful.
explain why consciousness
It is not only about
experiences
one
a
twin
flowing
aging
present.
less.
That
It is
remains
about
one of the
two
great
world
mysteries.
lines between two meetings.
The physics may describe a
twins meet at
four-dimensional
birth or
block,
departure,
but your mind
they
experiences
separate.
a moving
They
now.
reunite. How those
Between
two
those
facts
two
fit
meeting
together
points,
is still deeply
one world
unclear.
line contains
Maybe
more
the
time
flow
than
of
the
time
other.
is an illusion
The Earth
produced by
twin's
memory and
path through
consciousness.
space-time is longer in
Maybe
time.
the present feels
The traveling
special
twin's path
because your
is
brain
shorter in
contains
time.
records of the past.
The difference
but
is
not
not
the
illusion.
future.
It is
You remember
geometry.
yesterday because physical
This is the
traces of
secret
yesterday
hidden under
exist
relativity.
in your brain. Time
You do not
is
remember
geometry.
tomorrow because tomorrow
Duration
has
is
not
not
traces
universal.
in your current brain state.
Duration is like distance.
The arrow
but
of
in
time
space-time
may be connected to
Now,
entropy.
Different paths
The
between the
tendency
same
of
events
disorder
can
to
have
increase.
different lengths of
We
experience.
experience time in the direction
and your body
where
measures
entropy
that
increases
length by
because
aging.
that is the direction.
Your memories
in
measure
which
that
memories
length
by
records
accumulating
and
experience
stories
make sense. Your
mind
But
measures
even if the
that
flow
length
is an
by
illusion,
living through
it is not a
moments.
fake illusion. It is the structure of experience itself. You cannot step outside it. You cannot choose to experience your whole life as a block. You are trapped inside the moving present, whether the movement is fundamental or emergent. Your consciousness rides the world line one moment at a time. This creates a strange double reality. At the level of physics, space-time may be a complete structure. At the level of experience, time flows. At the level of equations, your future may be part of the geometry. At the level of life, you still must choose fear, hope, act, and wait. You cannot live like a block universe. You live like a human being moving through uncertainty. And maybe that is why time dilation feels so disturbing. It reveals a truth too large for human psychology. Your mind was not built to experience space-time. It was built to survive inside a tiny local environment where time differences are negligible. Your senses tell you the present is universal, because in daily life, that approximation works. But physics looks deeper and says the approximation is false. The present is local. The flow is not universal. Time is not absolute. Now let us return to the idea of now. When you say now, what do you mean? You mean your current conscious moment. The sounds you hear. The thoughts passing through your mind. The sensations in your body. The image in front of your eyes. But that now is not a cosmic category. It is local to you. Someone on a planet orbiting another star cannot share your now in an absolute sense. Even someone standing across the room is seen by you slightly in the past, because light takes time to cross the distance. The shared present is always approximate. At small scales, the approximation is so good that we call it reality. At large scales, it fails. When astronomers look into deep space, they do not see the universe as it is now. They see layers of the past, the moon as it was just over a second ago, the sun as it was 8 minutes ago, nearby stars as they were years ago, distant galaxies as they were millions or billions of years ago. The sky is not a window into the present. It is a graveyard of old light. But even asking what those distant objects are doing right now becomes complicated. Their right now depends on the observer. A civilization moving relative to us could define a different present across the galaxy. A spaceship travelling near light speed could slice space-time so differently that events we consider future may be part of its present. Again, there is no universal now to settle the question. This is why relativity feels like cosmic isolation. We are not all sharing one exact moment. We are near each other, moving similarly, so we share a practical now. But the deeper truth is that each observer carries a local present shaped by motion and gravity. The universe is not synchronized. It is a network of world lines, signals, delays, and reference frames. Now imagine two civilizations separated by thousands of light years. They may both exist in the same universe, but they cannot share a real-time conversation. A message from one takes thousands of years to reach the other. By the time it arrives, the sender may be extinct. A reply takes thousands more years. Communication becomes archaeology. Every message is a fossil. Every signal is a voice from a past that cannot be touched. Time dilation makes this even stranger. If one civilization lives near a massive object where time passes slowly, and another lives in deep space where time passes faster, their histories unfold at different rates. One society may experience a century, while the other experiences thousands of years. Their development, culture, technology, and memory would drift apart not only because of distance, but because of time itself. The universe does not guarantee equal historical speed. This gives us a haunting possibility. There may be places in the cosmos where time runs so differently that civilizations could live under completely different temporal conditions. A species near a strong gravitational field might look outward and see the universe aging faster. A species far away might observe them moving slowly, their signals stretched and delayed. Both would be alive. Both would be real. But they would belong to different rhythms of existence. This is not fantasy. Gravity changes time. Motion changes time. The only question is scale. Near Earth, the effects are tiny. Near black holes, neutron stars, or at near light speed, the effects become dramatic. The same law applies everywhere. The universe is consistent, but not comfortable. Now let us make it personal again. Your life feels continuous because your brain stitches moments together. You wake up, remember yesterday, plan tomorrow, and move through the day. But every moment you experience is local. The you who began listening to this script exists earlier on your world line. The you who will finish it exists later. You feel like one self moving through time, but from the space-time perspective, your life may be a complete pattern stretched across 4 dimensions. This raises another unsettling question. Are you a moving point of awareness? Or are you the entire world line? Are you only the present version of yourself? Or are all versions of you equally real? The child you were, the person you are now, the older person you may become, are these separate stages? Or are they all parts of one 4-dimensional being extended through time? In ordinary language, we say you are a child. But in the block universe, perhaps it is more accurate to say part of you is a child, located in an earlier region of space-time. Part of you is here, listening now. Part of you may be older, located later. Your identity becomes extended. You are not a 3-dimensional object moving through time. You are a 4-dimensional object stretched across time. This is deeply alien because we do not experience ourselves that way. You do not feel your entire life at once. You feel this moment, but physics often reveals that experience is not the whole of reality. The Earth feels still, but it moves. The ground feels flat, but Earth curves. Solid matter feels solid, but it is mostly empty space structured by fields and forces. Time feels universal, but it is relative. The present feels absolute, but it is local. The self feels like a moving point, but perhaps it is a world line. And once you see this, the universe becomes stranger than any myth. Ancient people imagined gods controlling time, fate, destiny, and death. Modern physics does not give us gods. It gives us geometry. It says your life may be carved into space-time. It says your future may be as real as your past. It says the flow you feel may not be fundamental. It says the present moment you cling to may be only your private slice through a larger structure. That is why time dilation is terrifying. It starts as a clock effect and ends as an existential earthquake. It begins with atomic clocks on airplanes and ends with questions about whether the future already exists. It begins with GPS satellites and ends with free will. It begins with particles surviving longer in the atmosphere and ends with the possibility that your entire life is a fixed path through space-time. But there is another side to this. Time dilation does not only terrify, it also opens possibilities. If time can slow for travelers moving near light speed, then the stars become more reachable from the traveler's perspective. If space-time is flexible, then the universe is not a simple prison of distance. There may be ways, within physics, to cross cosmic scales while experiencing only human-scale time. The cost is separation from home, but the possibility exists. Imagine a ship leaving Earth for a star hundreds of light years away. From Earth's perspective, the voyage may take centuries. Entire generations pass. Nations rise and vanish. Languages change. But on the ship, because of extreme time dilation, the crew may experience only a few years. They arrive alive, young, conscious, carrying memories of an Earth that is now ancient history. To them, the journey was survivable. To Earth, it was a historical era. This is the strange gift and curse of relativity. The same effect that destroys universal time may allow living beings to cross distances that would otherwise be impossible. Time dilation makes the universe emotionally harsher, but physically more open. It takes away the comfort of shared time, but it gives travelers a way to reach the stars within their own lifetimes. Yet even this gift has a dark edge. A crew traveling at relativistic speed would not simply explore space, they would abandon their era. Every mission would be a one-way trip into the future, even if the ship returns. A return journey would not restore the past. It would only bring them to a later Earth. The people who waved goodbye might be dead. The mission's purpose might be forgotten. The world might no longer want them back. This could create a new class of human beings, time-displaced explorers. People who age slowly compared to civilization. People who watch centuries pass in fragments. People whose loved ones become history while they remain young. They would carry the emotional weight of outliving entire generations without having lived through those generations themselves. What kind of psychology would survive that? How would a person handle returning home and finding their culture transformed beyond recognition? How would they process missing decades of music, language, politics, disasters, discoveries and deaths? How would they form relationships knowing that every voyage could turn their friends into elders and their children into ancestors? Time dilation would not just be a scientific reality, it would become a human wound. And this brings us back to the block universe in a painful way. If all those moments already exist, then the traveller's departure, the loved ones waiting, the years passing on Earth, the return, the shock, the grief, all are fixed inside space-time. The traveller does not defeat time. They follow a different path through it. They do not escape loss. They meet it from another angle. This is why Einstein's universe feels so cold. It does not arrange itself around human meaning. It does not preserve families. It does not protect love from relativistic separation. It does not care whether 1 year for you means 20 years for someone else. The equations simply work. The clocks simply tick along their paths. The heart breaks inside the geometry. Now we are ready for the next layer. Because if time dilation changes the future, the self, free will, space travel, and the meaning of now, then we must ask what happens at the most extreme boundary of time known to physics, the black hole event horizon. There, time dilation becomes so powerful that the outside universe can appear to accelerate toward its distant future. A falling observer may see stars burn, galaxies fade, and cosmic history compress into mum.